There's some additional news there. I mean, there's always news about OpenAI. I feel like we should rename this, This Week in OpenAI. And this this week, the big news is that they have officially, something that was rumored actually for quite some time now, that they are going after Google in a big way with what they're calling SearchGPT. I haven't actually seen it live. I've seen some of the screenshots and some of the video demos, and honestly, it's a little underwhelming. I mean, I think basically it's a UI change. I mean, the ChatGPT 4.0 already had extensive search capabilities. You could already ask it to perform a search and to summarize results and do all the things. And I don't know that there's anything significant here from a technology perspective, other than the fact that they've made the UI much more search-like, I think, and clearly going after Google and Bing and Perplexity. But as we've talked about, and I know there's another article that you wanted to reference about the fact that they're losing gobs and gobs of money.
Mhm.
And the question is this gonna move the needle in some way? Is this gonna be the pathway for them to actually make this work?
Yeah, I find it fascinating that OpenAI truly is treating this as a winner take all and take all the risks possible. I will give Sam Altman credit for taking this, for trying to do as much as humanly possible, talking about doing everything from search to chips and trying to own the entire the entire AI ecosystem to the extent that it's possible. That said, it's starting to feel like a lot of money is getting spent without a very visible goal or like midterm end game. Like where do we go in the next year to 2 years? And there have been reports. The information came out with claims that basically OpenAI has about 12 months of money left to work with, based on it just by having raised billions of dollars, because it literally costs that much to do all the testing and model building associated with what they do. They are actually a company where the employee payroll is not the actual largest cost, at the way that most tech companies work. In most startup tech companies, you raise that $20 million, frankly, because you need all that money for payroll for your talent over the next couple of years. In OpenAI's case, payroll is actually only about 20% of their costs, and the rest of it is just compute, compute, compute all day long, with whatever methods they're using to try to get to every single product under the sun, because they are also dealing with Meta, and they're dealing with Perplexity and Cohere and Anthropic and Google, and everybody else wants to eat their lunch too. This is a really competitive world with billions of dollars being spent by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I want to say I'm turning bearish on them, but I do think they need to figure out a business model and they need to do it quickly. I think we all thought that the Microsoft relationship was going to be the thing that sort of cemented that. But that hasn't really proven, especially because we learned that so much of Microsoft's investment was actually in the form of compute, which, as you just pointed out, is a huge part of their cost model. So that does make sense. But Microsoft is also making it very clear that they're not putting all their eggs in the OpenAI basket. And
Yes.
so, I think this is definitely a challenge. And I think the whole Search GPT thing is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be seen as the brilliant move that ultimately saves them, because obviously, if you look at Google, search is a massive business if you can monetize it,
Mhm.
from an AI perspective. Or it's going to be seen as the death knell, because it was folly going after Google that has insanely deep pockets. And while OpenAI's very existence created a, whatever, I forgot Google called it, the red alert or whatever, right? Where it's like, we have to respond to this. This is now a full frontal assault on them, and I think it's very clear that that this is now sort of all out war, and so we'll see how that plays out. Um, and I'm really torn, because on the one hand, I indirectly, I don't actually have an account with OpenAI anymore. I closed it, and I now use others that use that pay OpenAI indirectly because of the API access, right? That's what I'm using. And so I use OpenAI daily via the different systems I use, but every system I use has access to Anthropic and to, Llama and to all these different. So it's like if they went away tomorrow, it's not even going to affect me that much because I've got access to every other model through the systems I already use. In fact, that's why I went that direction. It was my way of hedging my bet to give myself access to whatever model I might want to use. And I think that's the great risk, is that it is shocking how fast, with this crazy of a technology, how quickly it's truly become commoditized.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the big challenge in front of OpenAI, is how do you keep it from doing that, and find a business model that makes sense?
Right. And it seems like the only true high value uh, use case I've seen so far is really around coding. And even there's it limits to what LLM can really do to help with coding assistance. And so